If you keep applying for the job positions and never hear back from the companies, perhaps it's not the problem with companies, perhaps it's with you. Maybe it's about your portfolio, maybe it's about your CV, maybe it's about your general approach towards these companies, and that's what we're going to discuss in this video, and how can you improve to improve your potential chances of getting hired. Tip number one I can give you is fix your portfolio. In my career, I had the chance of hiring other designers both for my company and for other companies which I have worked for previously, and I get the chance to see a lot of different portfolios and a lot of different approaches, and all I can tell you is keep your best work inside of your portfolio. Don't include all of the work you have inside your portfolio, but just pick your best work. You will know what is your best work, what do you like the most, and just make sure that you present your best work the best possible way you can. So use mock-ups, use different colors, use contrast, use bigger fonts, use whatever you can to present that work the best way you can, because the person you are presenting that work to knows a lot about design. Perhaps it's the art director in the company, perhaps it's the people who are hiring designers all the time, so HR for example, and they know what to look for inside of the design. So don't make them waste their time by simply browsing all of these mediocre designs. Choose your best ones. Practice is choose, for example, 15 of your best designs, but you do not have to do that. You can use 2, 3, maybe 5 of your best possible work and present it in a really nice way, and then simply show that. I don't need to see 15 of your work just to see if you know what you need to be doing in this company. I can see 1, perhaps 2, maybe even 3 of your best works, and I can know instantly if you are the good fit for the position or not. So just make sure to keep the portfolio fitting for the work you are presenting to that company. Make sure it's beautifully presented, make sure it gets to the point quickly, so HR person doesn't waste their time simply browsing for the features of your portfolio but never seeing the work which is needed to be done inside of the company that you are applying for. Tip number 2 is fix your CV. I can't stress enough how CV is important, and the most important part of your CV is your work experience. If you did not have the previous work experience, simply put in personal work, or maybe work for charity, or maybe even work for free if you have worked for a company without getting paid. That's really important to know for the HR person, so they can know perhaps you're applying for the mediocre position and they don't have the junior position open, but perhaps your portfolio is really good, and maybe they will put you inside of the special folder and call you first if the junior position gets available. So just make sure to list your previous work experience and just be honest, because the last thing the company wants to do is waste time with people who do not have the proper work experience which is needed for that particular position. So once again, be honest, because when you get to work and when you start working, it's going to be really obvious really quickly in the first day or two that you're going to get exposed if you were lying and you didn't tell the truth about your work experience, because as soon as you get the task, people with more experience than you can tell if you have been lying or not, because they have been through this multiple times over the years and they have the experience to tell if somebody is lying or telling the truth. So just make sure to list your work experience. That's what's most important about your CV. Of course, people want to know if you have some experience, for example, with other languages, because they might have clients in other countries. Perhaps they want to see which softwares you are familiar with and so on, but the work experience is what matters the most inside of your CV. Tip number 3, and the best way you can get hired, is approach companies you can actually help. Do not approach companies that you don't know what they are doing, what is their business model, you have never been inside of that industry and you're not that interested in that industry. try to find the industry that you are interested in, or perhaps the industry which is the closest thing to the industry you are interested in, and try to make sure that your portfolio and your CV reflect that. That is going to be the easiest way for you to get hired, because when the HR person takes your CV and your portfolio, they will instantly know that you know what you're talking about, you have been in this industry, you understand it, and they are going to waste as little time as possible with you to explain what the company's values are, what the company's goals are, what is the direction that the company is going in, and so on. So try to keep your search for the job inside of your industry. So for example, if you are a UI UX designer, or just UI designer, or just UX designer, try to focus on those positions inside of the industries that you are being good at. For example, if you're working with startup companies, then try to search for more startup positions. It's fine if you get bored to switch industries, that's also very welcome and very good, because you're going to show the diversity in your portfolio later on when you show it to other clients. But when you're just getting started, and when you are in this industry and in this business for, let's say, a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's really important to focus, because that is going to be the easiest possible way for you to get more work, because companies you are applying for can see that you know what you're talking about, can see that you have been working on, for example, for their competitors, and can see that you can really help them increase the value of their product or of their business. Tip number 4 is avoid technical talk, especially with smaller clients who do not have, for example, dedicated HR departments or art directors and so on. So avoid technical talk with them. Try to keep your talk with them about their product, about their company, and try to avoid as much as possible the technical talk with them. Some of them will be familiar with, for example, Adobe Photoshop, maybe Adobe Illustrator, but once you start to narrow that talk down and talk about Sketch, for example, especially about Figma, because it's one of the latest tools out there, they will just be confused, they will not know what you're talking about, and they will keep you aside and maybe choose the person who is talking more about their business and how they can help their business grow. That's the most important thing. They're not hiring you because you can put pretty pictures and you can use pretty colors. They're hiring you to help their business grow, to earn more money, and that's what's most important to them. They don't really care, especially small businesses. If you're using Sketch, Figma, Adobe XD, Photoshop, they do not care. They care about how can you help them increase the value of their product and of their business. So that's what you need to focus on, is how can you help them grow and how can you help them increase that value to their customers. So the better you are at that, the better you are at analyzing their business, their growth, their trajectories and so on, the easier it's going to be to get that job. The last tip I can give you is to follow up with your clients, because you will be surprised to hear that they are getting thousands and thousands of different CVs, different portfolios, and they really do not know at the end of the day, especially small companies who are not dealing with finding designers all of the time, like art directors and bigger companies with dedicated HR departments. They do not know who they contacted. Perhaps they are not really well organized and they have put your CV and portfolio, for example, on the side. Maybe person is coming in now, it's fresh in their memory, maybe they will choose them, maybe they forgot about you. So one thing you can do is simply follow up. If the interview went well, if you get the reply back to the email you sent to them or to your application, simply follow up with them. Ask them, hey, we talked about this job position and you said you're happy with me. I just want to see what's going on. I just want to see if we can schedule a call, for example, to see how I can help you with this job position and to see if we are a good fit for each other. So simply follow up with one email. If they have a chat, you can follow up with the chat, but it's best if you follow up with a dedicated person, either from the HR team, art director, or with the company owner or founders, or whichever person you have been contacted with, just to see what's going on. Because once again, they are getting hundreds if not thousands of different applications, and they are going to get confused, because at the end of the day they have this business to run, and now they have to think about you, the designer, and they have to speak with all of these different people. So just make sure to understand, people are not really well organized. So perhaps you will have to contact more than often all of these different people just to see what's been going on. So that's my final tip for this video. Simply follow up. It's super simple to do. It's going to take you less than 20 seconds, 30 seconds to type in an email, but it's going to be really beneficial to you and your job hunt. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope you got some value out of it. If you did, make sure to press that like button. I upload new videos every single week on design, passive income techniques, motivation and more. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.